Have you ever been totally, completely fascinated by someone new, only to feel that spark just kind of fizzle out the more you get to know them? Yeah, it's a confusing feeling, right? Well, today, we're going to get into exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how a really simple shift in the way you think about it can change absolutely everything. So, let's dive in.
I want you to think about it like this for a second. You get a brand new jigsaw puzzle. At first, the challenge is thrilling. All those jumbled pieces are a total mystery, and you're completely absorbed in it. But what happens the second you snap that very last piece into place? The challenge is gone. The mystery is solved. You might admire it for a minute, but then it goes back in the box. That feeling? That's right at the heart of what we're talking about today.
And that brings us to what we could call the fading spark mystery. You know that feeling, that intense, almost electric curiosity when you first meet someone? You just want to know everything. But then, as time goes on, you learn their stories, you figure out their quirks, and that initial brilliant spark can start to dim. It leaves you wondering, why? What happened?
Well, the answer really starts right here. As humans, we are just fundamentally drawn to anything new and different. A new person in your life is like finding an old, undiscovered map. Every single conversation feels like an expedition into new territory. It's the unknowns, you see? All those blank spots on the map that are just so incredibly exciting and pull us right in.
Now, this isn't just some poetic idea. This is literally baked into our biology. Our brains are hardwired to hunt for and react to new things. So, let's take a look at the science, at what's actually going on inside your head during that initial phase of fascination.
What's so wild is just how simple this process really is. When you meet someone new, that uncharted map, your brain gets a little ping. It says, hey, pay attention, this is new. And in response, it releases dopamine. You've heard of it, it's the feel-good chemical. This gives you a tiny chemical high, a little buzz of pleasure and reward, which then makes you want to interact more just to keep that great feeling going. It's a cycle.
And this quote, this is so important. If you have ever felt guilty or bad about losing that initial spark, I want you to just let that feeling go, right now. This powerful drive to seek out what's new isn't some flaw in your character. It's not a sign you're flaky. It is a deep biological instinct that actually helped our ancestors survive. So it's not you, it's just your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do.
Okay, so we've got the brain chemistry, that dopamine rush, but that is only half of the story. At the exact same time, there's this really powerful psychological thing happening. So now let's explore how our own imagination gets tangled up in all of this.
And that process has a name. It's called idealization. See, when we don't have all the information about someone, when their map still has a lot of blank spaces, our minds get really busy trying to fill in the gaps. And here's the kicker. We tend to fill them in with our own hopes and our own dreams. We basically end up creating a fantasy version of who they are in our own head.
So, this is the moment of truth. It's the inevitable clash between our projection and the actual person. In one corner, you've got this perfect, idealized version that you've built in your mind. And in the other corner, you have a real, complex, messy, and beautifully imperfect human being. That fading spark we feel, a lot of the time, it's just the sound of our fantasy bumping up against reality.
But wait, what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if the goal isn't to desperately cling to that initial spark? This brings us to a much more powerful way of thinking about it. Let's call it the art of rediscovery. Okay, let's go back to that puzzle metaphor for a second. The biggest mistake we make is treating another person like a puzzle we need to solve. Because people aren't static. They're not a box of pieces that once you put them all together are just done. The real secret to a deep connection is realizing that people are always evolving. They're learning new things, they're changing their minds, finding new passions. The person you're with today isn't the exact same person they were yesterday. And neither are you. And that right there, that is where the real lasting magic is. It's in the quiet, gentle curiosity to see who they are becoming. Every single day. Every day offers a brand new chance for discovery. Not because they were hiding something, but because a new part of them was just created.
So, the big takeaway here is all about a shift in your mindset. Instead of trying to solve a person, try exploring with them. See your relationships not as a destination you're trying to get to, but as a journey you're on together. You're not finishing a puzzle. You're getting to experience a living story that is still being written, chapter by chapter. So, I'll just leave you with this thought. Think about someone in your life. It could be someone you've just met or someone you've known for 20 years. What if you decided to approach them tomorrow with fresh eyes? What if you looked for that one new thing, that little change that makes them different from the person they were yesterday? Who will you get to discover tomorrow?